As you know that India INX started its operations way back in January 2017, and now we have completed almost close to about now 3 years. And if you look at it, I think we have done quite a few interesting things. We launched derivatives trading on indices, which is Sensex and India 50 futures and options. And recently, if you look at it, our volumes have been really growing exponentially. In fact, we hit a peak volume of almost $3.5 billion per day. On an average, now we are trading almost daily close to about $1.5 billion to $2 billion every day. So this is something which is very positive, which is again a recent kind of development. And since the election results, I think now we are getting a lot more inquiries from potential market intermediaries to become our members in the exchange. And we also seen more participation from overseas investors as well. And in fact, recently one of the key development is that RBI has actually issued a frequently asked question, wherein they have clarified that even non-resident individuals, which includes non-resident Indians as well as foreign individuals, to also be able to transact on the IFSC exchanges, which was always permitted by SEBI. But now RBI has also further clarified that they can actually transfer the funds to the brokers in the IFSC, that is the brokers of India INX, without requiring to open a bank account with the IBU. So this clearly is kind of a big boost for us, because this will enable a new set of investors in terms of retail players to come to our market. And also recently we have managed to get our subsidiary India INX GA, which is our arm, which basically is like an international broker, which is a special approval which SEBI has given to us to set up a subsidiary. Now that has also been able to connect with multiple international exchanges. Recently we announced that we are able to connect to 3 or 4 global exchanges. Initially we started last year with the CME group of exchanges, which is CME, CBOT, NYMEX and COMEX. And now we have announced the basically availability of the London Metal Exchange LME, Eurex, ICE Europe, and basically ICE also, the US exchange also. So these 4 exchanges also now come on our platform. So this will enable a lot of outbound investment flows also to happen through our subsidiary India INX Global Access. So just as I told you that we have got this new 4 exchanges also added, and in fact as we speak the LME trades have started getting operationalized. In fact there has been a good demand in terms of many of our brokers now basically enrolling as customers both into India INX GA platform also. And over the next 6-8 months we see a lot of positive movement in terms of people wanting to trade LME and even other international exchanges, and also look at various arbitrage strategies which they can actually play. So this will basically even enable tomorrow their customers, which could include Indian corporate firms, which today go and directly access these international markets, to also come through GIFT City through our India INX GA and access these markets. And as far as NRIs are concerned, as I just said, RBI's FAQ has come in, wherein they have clarified the NRIs can come in. Now I am sure that many firms in which are our broker firms will also start now doing their initiative to start reaching out to non-resident investors. So already we have made a couple of differentiation. One is if you look at our volumes, in fact now steadily our India 50 futures and options is able to compete with other competing international platforms like SGX. For example, SGX Nifty versus India 50 futures and options. Now our volumes are almost very close to what SGX does. So effectively in a short span of almost 2 years and 8 months, we have now managed to actually rival their liquidity. And as far as gold is concerned, which is the other product where we have liquidity, which we are competing with Dubai Gold and Commodity Exchange, which is the nearby regional center. There we have actually managed to get liquidity which is almost like 8 times more than what DGCX trades. So effectively if you look at it, both the products which we have been offered, which is on the index futures and options as well as on gold, we have done well in terms of our regional peers. And we also look forward to many more products including rupee, dollar, etc., which are all right now under policy considerations. In fact, RBI has appointed a task force which is looking at the recommendation of introducing rupee dollar derivatives also in the GIFT City exchanges. And India INX obviously has made an application to SEBI almost 2 years back, and we will be eagerly awaiting that product, because that is again one product which is being traded by a lot of overseas investors in the overseas exchanges, which could be brought into our exchange as well. So, I think regulatorily for us it's been a kind of a very nascent kind of we are at a very nascent stage. Although today GIFT City is regulated by 3 regulators, as you know: RBI for the banking verticals, and SEBI for the capital markets, and IRDA for the insurance verticals. In fact, in the last budget, the Honorable Finance Minister had announced creation of an unified IFSC authority. And in fact, the bill has been already tabled in the Parliament, and we think that that will basically in the next 6-8 months we expect that regulator to be fully functional, which will replace the existing 3 regulators. And in terms of regulatory initiative, I think the big things which we need are more broadening of participants and also more broadening of products. So, we have been talking about not only derivatives as an investment class, but we want to look at other products which could also include long term investment products. So, we are looking at overseas equity listing, we are looking at global depository receipts, we are looking at alternate investment funds, ETFs, mutual funds, REITs, InvITs, municipal bonds, and many other products, ETNs, and so on and so forth. So, we want to actually be able to compete with all other international financial centers which are of repute. So, I think we are at very early stage, and we are sure that the regulatory landscape will continue to keep making progress. So, if you look at it, our competition has been talking to SGX for a long time, and I think the products are yet to be introduced, and I think they are waiting a lot of approvals from the regulators on all sides. But as far as we are concerned, we already have unveiled a kind of a global coalition. In fact, as I said, we are doing tie-ups with various exchanges, which include CME, LME, ICE, and so on and so forth, on which we are allowing outbound accesses. We also have good cooperation with Dubai Gold Commodity Exchange, with which we have some product licensing agreements also in place. And if you look at our liquidity compared to our competition, today we are consistently about 85% to 90% of the market share as far as the IFSC itself is concerned. So, I think in that sense, I think India INX is now clearly established itself as the market leader as far as the GIFT IFSC jurisdiction is concerned. So, as I said, we have basically embarked upon a strategy wherein we are now looking at co-opting with all the international exchanges. So, we are offering our customers an outbound access to connect to those markets also. And similarly, we have created an inbound access for India products which are listed on our exchange, which is basically open to the rest of the world. And with more and more clarifications from our regulators, like the one which RBI recently gave out, we expect more such overseas investors to come in. And we also last year in the Union Budget, all foreign investors, non-resident investors, have been given a capital gain exemption, which means they don't have to pay any capital gain at all as far as trading on India INX is concerned. And also there are no frictions in terms of tax friction, in terms of a security transaction tax or a commodity transaction tax, which is prevalent in India. So, that also gives a good advantage to overseas investors. On top of it, the ease of business in terms of accessing the international market, because there we are trading everything in dollars. So, effectively there is no currency conversion risk for overseas investors, and they can virtually get the Indian market now in an international format, which is exactly what India INX has brought to play for the overseas investors. So, I think in the last 2-3 years we have evolved. As I said, our plan is to kind of straddle all the markets in the IFSC. So, we are looking at all kind of asset classes which comes into play to be available on our exchange, whether it is underlying products or whether it is derivatives products, cutting across all asset classes, whether it is equities, index, or commodities, or currencies, or interest rate. And obviously, we also want to expand to multiple underlying long term investment products, including REITs, InvITs, alternate investment funds, ETFs, mutual funds, many other kind of products also to be available on our exchange. So, when you look at a 5-year plan, obviously we are looking at all these markets. Also, in one of the policy initiatives which the government has announced is integrating the spot and the derivatives market as far as gold is concerned, precious metals is concerned. concerned. Since we already become a good gold futures exchange, we will also be interested in setting up something similar in the GIFT City, and which could be of a lot of use. And we are also looking at multiple other ideas in terms of looking at many other players and many other possibilities which the regulators allow us from time to time. So broadly, the key takeaways are basically from a exchange perspective. Today, India INX has emerged as the leading exchange within IFSC, with now almost a market share close to about 85 to 90%. Secondly, we are also now in the asset classes which we are competing with the international regional international centers. And the whole idea of putting up an exchange in the GIFT IFSC was to basically stop exporting the Indian markets to other regional centers and bring them back. I think India INX has now proved in its short journey of over 2.5 years that if given the right environment and given the kind of right cost structures in terms of taxation and ease of business, I think we have a world-class infrastructure and a world-class technology and a very good human resources pool by which we can actually bring the liquidity back home. And this is something which has been proved with India 50 futures and options now almost sharing similar market share as SGX, and with the gold futures actually becoming 8 times larger than the Dubai Gold and Commodity Exchange.